Hi, it's Paula and it's Wisdom Wednesday. So in 1941, in the throes of World War II, Franklin Delano Roosevelt gave his annual speech to the nation, and he declared the four freedoms. I got to see those four freedoms in painting by Norman Rockwell at his museum in Stockbridge in the Berkshires of Massachusetts. They're pretty powerful when you see them in person. They are the freedom of speech, the freedom of worship, the freedom from want, and the freedom from fear. And I think about the freedom of speech. This is one that's making me a little nervous right now, as lots of people are getting censored on social media, and fellow Americans are turning a deaf ear against each other and not listening. People are not able to speak freely for fear of retaliation. But the painting is this amazing man that stands up. He's got his coat on and he looks like he's at a New England town meeting. And I actually feel like I've met this man, and his name was Mike. He was my neighbor when we had a home in the Berkshires. And he was so principled in his freedoms for this country and being able to speak. And I could see in his eyes this man from this painting. The freedom of speech is something that's so important. It allows me to do these Wisdom Wednesdays and be able to connect with people next door or around the world. It's something we all need to value, treasure, and protect. More and more people are getting silenced for having different views than what the media wants you to have, the politicians want you to have. It's something that should put a chill down your spine. I know it puts it down mine. There's also the freedom to worship. As you probably have heard the studies, less and less people belong to formal religions these days. That makes me sad, because I feel like having faith is a fundamental, support foundation in our lives. So when those lifeboat moments come, you have somewhere to turn. And with less people having a house of worship to turn to, they turn to other things. Which was why we see such a spike in drug use, drug overdose, alcohol abuse, suicides from young people and older people. Having that freedom to worship is important. And I know I've had people make fun of me or question me or push back on me and tell me that they don't want me to talk about anything prayer-like in their lives. And then there's the freedom from want. It's depicted in the four freedoms. This is the big Thanksgiving dinner. This is food on our tables. And we live in one of the wealthiest countries on this planet. And we have an abundance of food all around us. We just have a delivery problem to make sure it gets to all the people that may need it. So we all can do a little bit more of our part to make sure that there's not a freedom, that people don't want for things like food, shelter, and we all have the ability to help our neighbor. I remember growing up when neighbors used to look out for each other. They would take each other's kids in. They would tell them when they were doing wrong things, as opposed to now where we just kind of turn away. We shut the door. We say, oh, not my business. But if we all took a little bit of an interest in each other, maybe we would help things get back on the right path. And lastly, it's the freedom of fear. And the painting is depicted as a young boy in bed, surrounded by what looks like parents. And it's that protection. It's that we know that our government and military is protecting us, that we don't have fear that people are going to break into our house, that we can walk down the street in the dark and no one's going to jump out at us, that we have no fear to talk to strangers, that we can wish each other good morning. Like on my walk this morning, and I had a gentleman say, Happy New Year. It's so warming to know that we can still be friend-like to people we've never met. They're just friends that we haven't met yet. They're not strangers. So we're living in a society of fear right now. Fear is surrounding us on all sides. I keep urging people to turn off the media. They control your mind and keep you in a perpetual state of fear. If you want to let go of that, turn to some silence. Listen to your own heart, your own innate wisdom, and you will have a much clearer sense of how those four freedoms will live in your life. And that's another Wisdom Wednesday.